Rebel Force Radio presents
Star Wars Cantina.
Where are you going, Master?
For a drink.
Sorry about the mess.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious.
All right, Star Wars fans, it's Jimmy Mack here at Star Wars Celebration Japan. They're tearing things down. The event is officially over, but we are lucky enough to have one of the most popular cats in the country with us right now, Ray Park.
Hey, how you doing?
Great to see you, man.
You too. It's great to
I haven't
see you
been
again.
I haven't been able to see you all weekend. You've been back in the corner here in the autograph hall, and the crowd surrounding you has been nonstop. I think you're the most popular guy in the country.
Oh, you think so? It's really sweet. I mean, the Japanese fans have been so kind to me, and I'm having so much fun. And this is my 5th time here to Tokyo in Japan, and I love coming out to the Far East.
Right. Well, being a martial arts master, this part of the world must hold great interest to you, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Like I have a lot of respect for Asian cultures and martial arts and Shaolin and Wushu, Qingwu, everything.
Of course.
I love it all.
Yeah. And I think the fans respond to you here because of their similar loves for martial arts and for what you do, and obviously the Darth Maul.
Yes.
Have you ever trained in Asia before?
Yeah, actually, when I was 14, turning 15, I went to Malaysia for the first time and trained there for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Went back 4 months later, I was there for another 3 months, went back 2 months later, went for another 3 months, and I continued to do that until I was 21. Yeah. I would go every winter and train with my teachers out there from November to February. Mm-hmm. And then when the winter was over in the UK, I'd come back in the spring and continue practicing what they would teach me just in order to get into film. So I've been to China a few times and competed and trained.
Wow.
But most of my winter training was in Malaysia.
Yeah. Competing, what's the highest honor you've received from martial arts competition?
Winning the World Championships, winning the International Championships, the European International Championship, 4-time gold medalist. And for the 6 years I was competing for Great Britain, I was always first place winner in the UK.
Wow. So
it was just something I really enjoyed and loved and really wanted to pursue. And I wanted to get into film so badly as a kid that all I knew for that time was to train. I gave up schooling just so I could practice.
Wow.
I mean, if I had the opportunity to train up for the Olympics and represent my country, I would do it.
Yeah. I mean, I could totally see you doing it. I could
love
see
to
you
do it.
winning. I could see you winning.
Thank you.
But we're here to talk about Star Wars, of course. And the level of intensity you brought to Darth Maul was absolutely intimidating. And he's one of the coolest characters of the entire saga. What were your first impressions of that character when you got the role?
Before I got the role, actually, I saw pictures of Darth Maul and the storyboards, and I knew straight away that was me.
Yeah.
And I had a sort of anxiety attack in the sense that I knew it was me so badly that I was scared in case I never got it.
Yeah.
And so I gave 3,000% in order to get that part. And when I got it, I was over the moon. I mean, I just knew what I could do with the character.
Yeah.
It came natural to me in how I was going to play it on a physical level.
Right. And what I found out that was surprising was you were only 21 when you filmed that role.
Yeah.
You carried it with such weight, you know?
Thank you.
It was just one of my all-time favorite characters of the whole saga. Now, is it true you were brought on board as a stunt performer only, and then you just sort of grew into the Darth Maul role? How did that go down?
It was through the stunt sort of avenue where Nick Gillard called me in, and no one was chosen or casted to play the role. And he said to me that they're looking for an actor who can do their own stunts or their own action, and he says they're even looking at stuntmen who can act. Mm-hmm. And because I had done one movie before where I was employed as a martial artist and a stuntman, and I'm proud to say I've done stunt work, but I've never been able to continue with stunt work because I always wanted to be an actor.
Right.
And even if I got into stunts, I would have still wanted to be in front of camera. Mm-hmm. So I was lucky that Star Wars was my first job as an actor. And so I worked with Nick for about a week in the stunt department, working on the fights. And I auditioned. And I think it made it easier that the stunt team were behind me. And I knew how to do stunts. I knew how to do action. So it was like a combination of everything.
And you bring up Nick, the stunt coordinator on the entire prequel trilogy. everyone I've talked to about Nick says he's just a wonderful, incredible, unique guy. What are your thoughts on Nick?
Great guy to work with at the time of episode 1, shooting it. I had a lot of fun working with him, and had a lot of fun working with Andreas Petrides and Ewan and Liam and all of the other stunt guys who participated in bringing things together for episode 1.
Mm-hmm. Did you contribute a lot of your own moves to the choreography?
Yeah, there was a lot of time we were in a rehearsal room about as big as this, and we would work for 10 hours a day just coming up with new moves, and I would bring a flair of my Wushu and Shaolin into it, but still trying to keep the Darth Maul ninja type samurai way.
Right.
And a lot of it was a collaboration of Nick's and the other stunt guys, and they would throw out ideas to me, and then we'd bounce that back and go, oh, what about this? So it was always changing.
Right. And you talk about how you studied Shaolin, and the Shaolin monks, like really interesting group, who have many similarities to the Jedi Knights in many ways. Am I right about that? What do you think?
There's traits. To answer that honestly, there is a lot of things in the philosophy of being a monk, like a traditional Shaolin monk, with a meditation and a Qigong, and using the Qigong for healing and also other reasons, as well as the martial arts and the mindset of. Actually, to answer honestly, you're very right. Yeah, I'm just thinking in my head now, because of the way the Jedis are, it's very similar to like a Shaolin monk, or I want to say like a samurai.
Yes,
you know, as well.
Definitely elements of the samurai with the Jedi as well, which is really cool to think. You study that, and the Wushu, which is pretty much. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's use of the sticks.
Wushu has thousands of weapons, and
it's weapon heavy,
and also gymnastics, martial arts. What it is martial arts made modern. All of the traditional arts in China, they bring the best of it, and they comprise it of like gymnastic routines for competition, so it's nicer to look at.
Yeah.
And so it is traditional martial arts, but made more flamboyant.
Okay, yeah, a little more show busy.
It's more showy, so that's why it works for movies, for me.
And I've seen you on various talk shows over the years where you'll whip out some weapon and do a demonstration of the Wushu arts.
Yes.
Which is always a crowd pleaser, right?
Yeah. Well, Wushu, if you saw a guy doing a very traditional martial art form and you didn't know anything about it, you might not take to it as much as seeing someone jump out, slap their hands, do a flip, spin around, spin a stick, slap it on the floor, and then finish with a real flashy pose.
Right.
Then you'd be more impressed with that because it looks dynamic.
Yeah, and impressive. That's your middle name. When I see you doing those moves, it's just, everyone's seen Phantom Menace, so we've seen what you can do on a big screen, but I've seen you really throw out full routines and stuff, and I'm just, always my jaw hits the floor. You were so talented. And obviously, you're in awesome shape, and you are so dedicated to your art and keeping up your strength and everything. It's actually inspiring.
Thank you.
A guy like me, I'm going to be hitting 40 next year.
You're still young?
So I feel young, but keeping in shape is something that's, as I get older, it's becoming more and more important to me. And that's when guys like you are more and more impressive to me. Because, to push your body to its physical extreme, to the limits, is difficult, but very rewarding, I
always joke with my wife, I'm like, there's a famous saying in one of the Highlander movies where the guy goes, well, I have one thing to say, it's better to burn out than fade away. Yeah. And I have the funny feeling that would be the case for me, because I always push my body right to the limit, and it's always the top guys at the top of their game that sort of knock it on the head very early on. So my goal is to know when it's time to change my ways in my training and take another path in training, but try and keep the things that are great as a young man when I'm an old man.
Wow.
And be a good, mature man that can still show and have a very good mindset and philosophy on life and in training.
Neil Young said that too. It's better to burn out than to fade away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The singer? Oh, no,
You know Neil Young, right?
Yeah.
How did portraying Darth Maul change your life?
A great amount, actually. It's given me worldwide recognition with Star Wars fans. It's helped me to open doors and work on movies for 20th Century Fox like X-Men, Sleepy Hollow, Snake Eyes for G.I. Joe.
Oh my God!
You
Are
know,
they
I think-
looking forward to that? When you did your presentation and G.I. Joe was brought up,
Could you please tell us a little bit about your role in
Yeah,
G.I.
sure.
Joe?
But can we sing a little song first?
ちょっとご一緒に歌ってもよろしいですか？先
I
に。
want everyone to do the Kanye West one. It's going to go G.I. Joe, 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 G.I. Joe,
どうぞお客様。
Joe,
G.I. Joe,
Joe, Joe,
G.I. Joe, Joe, Joe.
people were eating it up. They
Yeah.
can't wait for that flick.
I hope so, you know, because I mean, be honest with you. When I was 5, 6, 7, I had the Star Wars toys. I had the G.I. Joe tanks.
Yes.
In the UK, they called it Action Man. Then when the new Action Force came out, which was the British version of G.I. Joe, I had Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. And Storm Shadow was my favorite because he was the white ninja, dressed in white. Snake Eyes was cool because he was like Commando, SAS. And now I get to play him. And I mean, even when I was shooting, I always go, "Yo, Joe," to my fellow actors. Whenever we were in a scene together, just keep it going because I'm a big fan.
Right.
I mean, it's nice to know that Star Wars fans are fans of G.I. Joe, and I'm looking forward to it. And I can't thank the fans enough for supporting me over the last 10 years. Whenever they see me with warmth and with total respect, and that really helped for me to seal the deal for Snake Eyes.
That's awesome, and we can't wait. And describe the baseball hat you're wearing.
This was designed and drawn for me by an artist called Brian. I've forgotten his last name. He signed it for me, and he did it for me in Texas. And it's got Darth Maul on one side and Snake Eyes on the other side. And he asked me, do I want Toad in there? And I said, as cool as Toad is, I like Darth Maul and Snake Eyes. They're two cool, badass action guys.
That's
and I
exactly
wore
what
it
they are.
today out of respect, just for the fans, and I wanted to show it off. You know, so it's a
That's
cool little baseball cap.
It's very cool, and I heard people in the panel commenting on it. You know, just people in the audience.
A couple of people
the ones
asked
who
me
I
for
could
it.
understand. Oh, I'll bet.
They
I'll
wanted
bet.
it, and I said, I'd love to, but check out his website.
yeah. It's a really good. Do you know what his website is?
Not off the top of my head. I'd love to give it to you right now, but
Well, I'll try to find it out.
yeah.
I'll let our listeners know. Because it's did he write
I
on
think
there where it's from?
Brian.
wait,
Here it is. There it
sketch
is.
Cards, what is it?
Brian Denham.
Oh, there it is.
Brian
Brian Denham.
Denham.
DENHAM.com.
Yeah.
So BrianDenham.com.
And it's sketchcaps.com.
Sketchcaps.com. So
There you
check
go.
it out. It's a really, really cool. It's like in the States, we'd refer to that as like a trucker's baseball hat.
Yeah.
You know, and,
It is a trucker's hat.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
right,
is
right,
a-
exactly. And it's got the Darth Maul and the Snake Eyes. Very cool. Would you consider yourself a big Star Wars fan?
Yeah.
You
Not as
grew up
big
with it, right?
I grew up with
Yeah.
it, but I'm not as big as a lot of fans I meet.
Yeah, right.
They're
right.
bigger.
Right.
But I love films. I love
Mm-hmm.
movies. I love escaping, and yeah, I am a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah, and you had the toys when you were a kid
I had
too?
the toys as well. I used to mess up my brother's toys. He used to set up his Ewok station and everything else, and I used to come along and kick him away.
Not a big fan of the Ewoks or what?
No, I just like messing him about.
You're not a
He's
big
my-
fan of your brother or what?
No, I love him. He's just my little younger brother.
Were you bummed when you learned Darth Maul was going to die at the end of the film?
I knew from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect to be brought back or anything like that, or even hinted to be brought back. So I knew that he was going to die, but I wanted it to be a good death.
Yeah,
So I was bummed that the death was not that great.
Was it easy to work in his kind of flowing robes
Oh,
and
yeah,
everything?
that
It
was
looked real
easy.
loose and lightweight.
It was
and,
perfect.
Would you say Darth Maul wore sensible shoes?
In the beginning, I said no,
Yeah.
because they were like Frank Thomas biker boots.
Yeah.
But then the more and more I wore them, the more and more I liked them. But they wouldn't have been my first choice of boots.
Right. What would you have worn? More like a slipper?
Yeah, maybe more of a slipper, you know, more of a... At the time I would have done more of a lightweight slipper, but actually looking at the look and the way he is, it gives a bit of rawness and roughness to the nice flowing chi of his robes.
Yeah.
You know, it was the easiest costume I had to wear.
Yeah, well, it was stunning to see it on film when you were
Yeah.
in full action, you know, and the way George shot it was brilliant.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you one question about the makeup. I know people ask about the makeup all the freaking time, so I'm not going to dwell on it, but what did they rub on your teeth to give it that gritty black
That's
stain
some
look?
enamel tooth paint. I don't know what it was, but it tasted nasty.
Oh, did it? And did it stick with you?
No, once I had something to eat, it would come off. It wasn't something that would stay on.
Yeah, what did it taste like?
Like a metally, alcoholic sort of funny taste. It was just weird.
Did you know your
Medicine sort of taste.
Yeah. Did you know your voice was going to be overdubbed by someone else?
I had an inclination in the beginning, but I still tried, and you know, in hopes that George might not dub me. But I knew they were going to dub, and I knew that from the beginning that it was just tradition, and George knew he was going to dub Darth Maul no matter what.
Yeah.
So I think George might have gave me a fair chance for me to try, but I was inexperienced in voice work or anything like that. I mean, I'm more of a physical actor. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, that obviously. But
the least I have to speak, the better.
now, are you going to get any speaking role lines as Snake Eyes?
No, because in the comics he doesn't speak.
He doesn't talk, right.
But in this movie, he has a vowel of silence. So I speak a lot with my hands and my shoulders and my bum and my legs.
Oh, okay. Hey, I appreciate you as a martial artist and all that. So, any chance I get to see you on the big screen doing your thing, I'll check it out for sure.
Well, this is going to have a lot of sword work, a lot of tonfa work. I have this weapon that I use that you'll see, and it's a tonfa, but it's a hyper tonfa. We have this awesome fight scene in the movie, and I do a lot of kicking and a lot of sword work.
Another film you're set to be in, well, you've already shot, and it's pretty much already done, and it's ready to be released soon, is Fanboys, Kyle Newman's film.
Yes, a good friend of mine.
Yeah, a good friend of mine, too.
Yeah.
He's a friend of our shows, actually, and I hope he's listening to this. I know he's putting the final post-production touches on the film as we speak.
Yes.
And in it, you play a Lucasfilm security guard.
That's right, yeah.
And it's pretty humorous. I've seen the scene that you're in, and it's really great. Any feelings about that shoot? Any thoughts about the experience?
Kyle had spoken to me about it for a long time, and I always wanted to work with him.
Yeah.
And when he finally got greenlit on Fanboys, I just said, "Tell me when and where, and I'll be there." And I asked him, "Just please, I want to be able to do this, so let's make it work."
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty funny that I'd play one of the guards, and say the lines I had to say, and be there with Bill Katz. And I thought it was funny. I thought it was just a great moment for the fans and for me, and I wanted to do it. It was a Star Wars movie,
right?
It was a fan. It's a fan movie.
Yeah.
It's not a fan movie, but it's for the fans and for anyone else who loves Star Wars. And so it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed working with the cast, and Carl was a great director.
Yeah.
And I hope you're listening, Carl. I want to work with you again.
We've also spoken in the past about your desire to bring the Marvel Comics character Iron Fist to the screen. Is that a dead deal, or what's up with that?
I couldn't honestly answer you what's going on with that. I'm just anticipating doing it, and if it doesn't happen, there could be other things out there. I'm just going along with the flow and see what happens,
Right. I could totally see you playing Danny Rand. I could see that. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Thank you.
It's a no-brainer. Did you find yourself collecting a lot of the old Iron Fist comics for a while?
For research, and then I stopped because I was getting too attached to it and I was getting disappointed. So I like the fact that the fans are really enthusiastic about it, and I can't wait to do it, and I hope it would be something that would happen and I get to do it and show what I can do as well.
Yeah, I would love the opportunity to be able to see that's for sure, because I've always liked Iron Fist myself. Did you keep any props or anything from the set of Episode 1?
I couldn't tell you that.
No? Okay. So that's a yes. But you don't have to tell me what it was. Just come on, whisper it to me. What was it?
I couldn't tell you.
Come on. All right.
It's a secret.
I'll let you off the hook. Double-bladed lightsaber hanging over my fireplace mantle. Right? No?
I don't know.
Oh, man, you're good.
I don't know.
You're good. You're not budging. You are good. Do you have a memorable moment or a real funny situation from the set of Episode 1 that sticks out?
Just there's times when the guys would play lightsaber noises with their lightsabers, but I mean, I didn't really have a great sense of humor when I was 21 because I was too serious.
Oh, really?
You know,
you
I
seem
was
such
shy.
like affable, fun guy. I couldn't see that.
I was just shy and just kept quiet and got on with my work, and I had fun with my friends outside, but on set I just took my job really seriously.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've heard funny stories from other people, but it's just nice. I thought, the funny thing that Liam had said to me, like I had a habit, and because of my style, I would go into a very deep stance. And he's such a tall, he's a big man, and great at what he does. And he asked me, he goes, "Ray, look, I'm having a hard time, like trying to hit your your blade or the position when you're so low down.
Yeah.
Can you raise your stance a little bit? And I
Right.
didn't take that into consideration.
Uh-huh.
And then I remember chuckling to myself,
Yeah.
thinking, oh wow, yeah, he's really like it's not fair. I should really have thought of that earlier and adapted.
Yeah, well, Liam is a tall man.
Yeah, he is tall. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And my son takes Shotokan karate, and low stance.
Yeah.
They push that on him. You know, he's 9, and you know, I'm sure you started hearing that when you were even younger than that. Low stance.
That's the basics. Yeah.
So, and speaking of my son, when you were in Chicago in 2005, I asked you for some advice for my son who was just getting into Shotokan karate, and you said mix it with gymnastics. And he actually has gone to gymnastics camp, and it's helped his balance, and it's helped his overall feel for the discipline.
Yeah, good.
So, I mean, that was great advice.
Great,
And
it is.
obviously, a martial arts expert like yourself is going to give me that kind of advice. With my son, I'm going to follow through on it. So I just
No,
want to
good.
thank you for that.
Thank you.
Boy, they're ripping this place apart right in front of us,
Yeah.
too. Yeah, so we're going to wrap it up. Why do you think Star Wars has such timeless and enduring appeal?
I just think because of great storytelling and it sort of lets you escape and great characters, and for me it's the lightsabers and the spaceships and the Force, and so I think for everyone else it's different.
Yeah.
But for me it was just that there's no other movie has a lightsaber in
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And whenever you see someone who puts something similar in their own movies, you always think of Star Wars.
Right.
I think it just captivated us as when we were kids, and you hadn't seen anything like that on screen.
Yeah. Well, you like it for the coolness factor, which makes all the sense in the world because you played pretty much the coolest character, Darth Maul. Coolest character in the prequels, at least. Darth Maul was cool. You're cool. This whole trip to Japan's been cool. I hope you enjoy the rest of your stay in this awesome country.
Great place. I just can't believe how humid it is here. I'm dying sitting here talking to you.
Oh
I'm
my
sweating.
God, I'm just sweating. I've been
Yeah.
sweating all weekend, but you know what? It's been a blast. It's
has
been worth
been.
every
It's been
drop
great.
of sweat, and I look forward to our sparring session we're gonna have later on this afternoon.
Well, after
okay?
a few shots of whiskey.
Yeah, you know how many shots of whiskey I would need to get in the ring with you? Just give me the bottle, okay? Thanks a lot.
No,
Ray.
you're welcome, man.
Have a great
Anytime.
one, man.
Thanks for
You're the
taking
best.
time out. Hey, I'm Ray Parker. I play Darth Maul, and you're listening to Rebel Force Radio.